A ding dang lil big howdy a doodaloo my nasties. Just wanted to let you know that I got my day started the best way I can with some good coffee and I am ready to blast off like a big bad blasty boys. But yeah, I don't even know what's gonna happen this chapter, so let's just wing it I guess, because these amazing stories don't write themselves feel. But yeah, I'm gonna have to slap a big bad PG-13 rating on this episode because I feel like it and it's spooky. So yeah, here we go. Chapter 5, The Gypsy. The saloon broke out in absolute mayhem. People were screaming, farting, running, and worst of all, watching Metabots on their phones. What a bunch of gross thinking nerds. I grabbed Spaghetti Sam's revolver out of its holster and shot a warning shot right into the ceiling. Someone screamed upstairs, but everyone else stopped in their tracks. I shouted, "Right, listen here you gangly saloon folk, everyone be calm. Let's be real, no one here even drinks milk, right?" Everyone started laughing and they were like, "Oh right, I have chocolate milk like once a year lol." Once everyone had settled down, I looked at Willy Billy the Billy Willy boy himself and I was like, what was all that about? He looked at me and was like, "Oh I don't know. I just really wanted to be dramatic and I'm trying to overturn the big milk reps and lobbyists in a grassroots movement because milk is so gross for real." Ugh. Willy, I don't think right now is the best time to be politically galvanizing the townsfolk against milk when I'm trying to figure out this whole log pimp and meme lord murder thing, you know? "Oh sorry Nasty Jack." He stood up and was like, "Yeah no I'm fine, sorry to worry you, I'm just gonna go back to the sheriff's station." I was like, "Thanks, yeah someone needs to do all that clerical work and feed the nasty bad guys locked up there so they don't starve and stuff." He walked out the door and I gave my partner a serious look. I said to Spaghetti Guy the two most dangerous, most trusting words a person can say to another. I farted. Lol. He gave me a look and was like, "Okay. Wow. Tough crowd." I walked back over to the bar and asked the bartender if there was a local forum, library or anything of that sort. He gave me a look and was like, "Yeah not really, I don't think there is anyone in this town that can read. We really don't have an infrastructure that supports basic education here lol." I thought to myself, oh wow, this really is the old-timey West for real He said to me, "Though there is one thing I can think of." "Oh yeah?" I replied. "Yeah for sure. There is a gypsy babe that sets up shop just outside the western exit of town. It's the girl who helps out here on the weekends, Jane Higgins. She claims to be attuned to the occult and mystical and does reading and stuff for the people in town, but everyone kind of thinks of her as a novelty and just see her for fun and stuff." I gave Spaghetti Sam a look and he stared at me blankly with one eye while the other darted around following a fly on the other side of the room. "Alright buddy, time to saddle up." As we stepped outside, the sun was beginning to set. This should prove to be an interesting night. Ad break. Hello my nasties, Nasty Jack here with another good break from our amazing story. I hope you are enjoying it today. Pretty spicy huh? But yeah, today the only note I had from my publisher was plug something cool that you want your fans to know about. Well I guess the only thing I can think of is my Nintendo Switch. It's pretty cool and I like it a lot. My favorite games are all on it and I do lot of cool stuff like farming in Stardew Valley with my friends and looking around beautiful vistas in Legend of Zelda. Holy wow, I love that thing so much, so you are welcome my fans, check it out if you don't have one. Writing in today from California with our nagging nasties, we have a big fan that goes by Jim Jam a Lim Lam. Thanks numbnuts. It reads, "Hey Nasty Jack, how do you come up with your stories? Like I've been reading The Scary House over and over again because it's my favorite book ever written, but like wow, I would love to pick your brain. Give us some insight into how your book is written." Aha. Thanks Jim Jam, glad to hear you like my book. And I can't tell you everything about the writing process because it is a family secret, haha, but like 99.99999% of my stories happened to me firsthand and I recount how it happened. There are maybe like 2 or 3 things each book I exaggerate, like how much I like riding horses. I like it a lot, but like not that much. Everything else is straight from the heart like a genuine authentic good writer does. Anyway, that is all we have time for today, so thanks again my nasties, and back to the show. Alright Spaghetti Man, cool if we take your horse? He gave me a look and said, oh no, it looks like Billy brought your horse too and saddled him up next to mine. Oh thank gosh. Bless up to the real homie Jesus up in the sky today, always looking over his grateful sheep. Amen. We grabbed our horses and delved westward out of town into the sunset like a couple of dashing vagabonds. But like only one of us is dashing cause the other is a lizard and doesn't have an objectively massive sex appeal like your boy Nasty Jack the Fat Slim Jim and Jay himself. We reached the edge of town just as the last of the setting sun's rays dissipated and gave way to the filigree of dusk. Just outside of the fenced line that indicates the end of Whisper Ridge, was a small vardo with the soft yellow glow of candlelight from within. I rode up and was like, "Yo Spaghetti Sam. I think this little caravan is only big enough for one of us if you catch my drift, like you should defo wait out here with the horses while I chit the chat like some real gossip with the babe Jane Wiggins." He seemed pleased as there were so many bugs out that I wasn't sure that he even heard me, so I left him to his own devices. I knocked on the door of the wagon and a moment later the door swung open. Nasty Jack. Wow, she was so pretty in her exotic garb, like wow, my heart began to race. "Come in," she told me, but she didn't mask her surprise. The interior of her wagon so cozy and comfy I felt right at home. "Did I interrupt something?" I asked. She quickly closed her laptop and I could tell that she was watching my favorite movie Extreme Days. She blushed and I was like, "No, it's okay." Like I said, I was like, "It's okay Jane, I really like chick flicks with sports montages, there's nothing to be ashamed of." She gave me a sheepish look and asked, "What brought you here Nasty Jack?" "I'm following a lead. I am looking for anything to do with the meme lords or the Og Pimps. I know that a woman that goes by White Dino was behind the murder that plagued this town, and I just need any information that will point me in the right direction, cause let me tell you honey, I am lost like a fruity thick Fruit Loop in a box of marshmallow only Lucky Charms." She was like, "Okay yeah, I mean I don't know if you heard, but I practice magic and I like am pretty attuned to the ways of the occult." I was like, "Yeah, I heard. What can you tell me about the symbol of the meme lords?" She sighed heavily. She lifted a pendant out of her breast and I gasped. It was a star with an eye in the middle. But it had 8 points. I was actually sent here last year to find that out myself. I don't know much about her, but the organization I work for is the Ecclesiastics of Ishtar. Our symbol is the Star of Ishtar or the Star of Venus. A star with 8 points and a knight in the middle. Many years ago, the head of the Ecclesiastics formed a scientific sect that aimed to blend our arcane magic with the modern advances of society. After years of research, the group was excommunicated, as they had begun to perform brutal experiments with sacrifices and rituals, and the funding was ceased. The woman that had been chosen to lead it went by the name White Dinosaur. The gears started to turn in my head and I let out a little fart. "Okay," I said. "But what does this have to do with the Mamelorgs?" Jane looked at me and said, "We don't know. We heard rumors of a magical organization functioning under a 6-pointed star with a knight in the middle, and I was sent to Whisper Ridge to find out what was going on. But I'm no closer to figuring out what this group wants or how to find them." Then everything clicked. I looked at Jane and I said, "You're not gonna believe this, but I have a hunch that White Dino was actually White Dinosaur." She gasped. "No way," she said. "Do you really think so?" "I don't know," I said, "but there is only one way to find out. And that's—" But before I could finish there was a commotion outside. I swung open the door. Billy Willie was out of breath and hunched over. He yelled, "Nasty Jack, we need you. There's been another murder." This audiobook is copyrighted by Nasty Jack Cool Storytime Incorporated.